Have you ever like sat down online for just a minute and then suddenly hours are gone?
Oh, yeah.
It's like there's this unseen hand just kind of guiding you, to the glowing screen and you're left like, weirdo.
Yeah.
Well, that is exactly what we're diving into today.
Okay.
We're going to explore how modern entertainment, particularly all the stuff online, is designed to capture and hold our attention.
Mm-hmm.
We found this really thought-provoking video from the Psyche and Wisdom YouTube channel.
Interesting.
And our mission today is to help you understand how this works. And even more importantly, like, what can we do to take back control of our attention and our time?
I like it. Let's break it down.
Okay, so the video starts off with this really powerful image. It says that entertainment is like a thief stealing time, clarity, and even who we could become.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
I mean, it's a strong statement for sure, but I think it highlights this important truth that the time we spend consuming entertainment, especially passively online, has a cost. Like, what else could we be doing with that time and energy?
Yeah.
So what are you potentially losing in that exchange? Think about it.
And the video goes on to talk about how algorithms shape what we desire through the infinite scroll autoplay and, the little dopamine hits we get from notifications.
Yeah, it's interesting when you think about how different that is from how we used to engage with entertainment.
Right?
Like, imagine reading a book, attending a concert, or listening to music with friends.
Mm-hmm.
Those experiences required a certain presence and patience.
It's true. You had to actively choose to engage. There was like a beginning and an end.
Exactly.
It wasn't this continuous, never-ending feed.
It really makes you appreciate those moments where you actually choose to engage rather than just being pulled in.
Totally. Like, even just watching a movie used to feel like a more deliberate choice.
Yeah, for sure. The barriers to consumption have been lowered significantly.
And then there's the whole dopamine loop.
Oh, yeah, the brain chemistry.
The video talks about how each ping, each new reel floods our brains with pleasure, and it creates this chemical rush that fades so quickly.
Right, and then we just want more.
So it's like we're training our brains to crave these little digital crumbs.
It's true. And it plays on that unpredictable nature of online content.
Right.
We never know what's coming next.
The video makes this really interesting connection to B.F. Skinner's work on unpredictable rewards.
Oh, yeah. Skinner boxes.
It's like we're constantly pulling a slot machine lever, not knowing if the next post is going to be mundane or mesmerizing.
It's so true. That uncertainty keeps us hooked.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Like how Skinner's research showed that these variable rewards are so effective at shaping behavior.
Absolutely. Think about it like those sporadic rewards, a funny meme, an insightful comment, a notification. They create this compulsion to keep going, even if the average payoff is low.
And the video says the consequence of all this is that we end up feeling hollowed out, needing more to feel less.
That's powerful. What do you think that means?
It's like the more we consume, the less satisfied we become.
Right.
We need a bigger hit each time to get the same fleeting pleasure.
It's a bit of a vicious cycle, isn't it?
Yeah, and then you start to think about, how all this stimulation affects our ability to just appreciate the real world.
Yeah, like the simple thing.
The video even says that reality can seem kind of dull compared to the screen's vivid glow.
It's true. Our brains adapt to the level of stimulation they receive.
Right.
So if we're constantly bombarded with this engaging, rapidly changing content, the slower, more nuanced experiences of the offline world, they just can't compete.
It's like when you eat rich food all the time and then suddenly an apple tastes bland.
Exactly. And it's not just about finding real life less exciting.
Right. It affects our attention spans, too.
That's right. The video mentions this statistic about how attention spans have shrunk from about 12 seconds to 8.
Less than a goldfish.
Yeah. Supposedly. But you know what I find even more concerning?
What's that?
It's not just about being easily distracted. It's this deeper loss. It's the ability to just sit with our own thoughts.
Yeah, I've definitely thought, it's harder to focus for long.
Absolutely. And the video argues that this inability to be with our thought affects everything. Our focus, problem-solving skill, even our ability to imagine and dream.
It's like we're losing our inner...
Precisely.
Yeah.
There's this thing called the default mode network in the brain.
Oh, I've heard of that.
It's like the brain's idle mode where it processes things in the background.
Like when you're spacing out and then boom, you have a great idea.
Exactly. But constant stimulation can actually prevent this crucial internal processing from happening.
It makes you think that maybe we're using entertainment as a shield.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A shield against sadness, a drug for boredom.
Which ironically makes it even harder to deal with those emotions when the screen's off.
Exactly. We become reliant on external stimulation to regulate our emotions.
Right.
And that can lead to what the video calls dopamine deficit life.
So that's when we're so used to intense stimulation that only extreme things feel good anymore.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like a walk in the rain or a quiet conversation start to feel, well, kind of gray.
Exactly. If our baseline is constantly elevated by online entertainment, then those simple everyday moments just don't provide enough of a reward.
But then who benefits from all this?
Right. It's a good question.
The video says it's the corporations, the platforms, the powers that thrive when we're too distracted to look up.
It really highlights those economic incentives at play.
Yeah, it mentions Sean Parker, the first president of Facebook, who admitted that these systems were built to exploit us.
Right. He said they were designed to turn our need for connection into a craving for validation.
I mean, it's a pretty disturbing thought, isn't it?
It is. It suggests that these features were intentionally designed to keep us hooked.
And it reminds me of Neil Postman's warning in Amusing Ourselves to Death.
Oh, yeah.
About how society won't be destroyed by censorship, but by entertainment.
Right? We'll become so saturated with it that we become indifferent and apathetic.
When was the last time you spent a whole day completely screen-free?
I don't even know if I can remember.
Yeah, it's like a radical idea now.
It is. And it's not just about personal distraction. The video talks about these broader societal implications.
It's like trading critical thought for clickbait.
Yeah, and patience becoming a relic of the past.
It's like entertainment is disarming us, making us passive and pliable.
Exactly. It weakens our ability to think critically and have reasoned debates.
It's scary to think about a world where we can't handle complex issues because we're used to quick and easy content.
It is, but the video offers a starting point for change.
Okay, what's that?
It says the first step to freedom is seeing the cage for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We need to recognize that all that scrolling isn't about relaxation. It's often about avoiding discomfort and the vastness of our own minds.
The vastness of our own minds. That's interesting.
Right. What does that make you think of?
It's like maybe we're afraid of silence, of what might come up if we're not constantly distracted.
Exactly. And the video does a great job of reframing boredom.
To that part.
It says that boredom isn't something negative to avoid.
Yeah.
It's the spark we've learned to smother.
It's a call to create rather than consume.
I love that.
And it even quotes Pascal, who said that all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's in those moments of quiet that our minds can wander, make connections, and come up with new ideas.
Okay, so if we recognize that, how do we actually reclaim our attention?
The video suggests starting small.
Okay, like what?
Like just 10 minutes of focused activity without screens.
Okay, I can do that.
Right. And then try to embrace those empty moments. Allow your thoughts to drift without immediately reaching for your phone.
So just be okay with a little bit of discomfort.
Exactly. It builds our tolerance for stillness. And it also suggests being more conscious about our entertainment choices.
So not just mindlessly clicking on whatever pops up.
Right. Ask yourself, does this enrich me or erode me?
So be intentional about how we spend our time.
Exactly. And finally, the video encourages us to shift from consumption to creation.
Make something. Anything.
Yes. Whether it's writing, music, art, anything that allows you to express yourself.
I like that because creation is active and engaging.
Exactly. It's the opposite of passive consumption.
And the video says that by doing all this, we might start to experience haze.
Right. The world comes back into focus.
That's a great way to put it.
It's about regaining not just our focus, but also a clearer understanding of ourselves and the world.
But this is about more than just personal productivity, right?
Exactly. The video goes even deeper.
It argues that entertainment addiction isn't just a personal failing, it's actually a tool.
A tool used by those in power.
Those who benefit from a distracted, disengaged populace.
That's a really powerful argument.
Yeah, it draws a parallel to ancient Rome's bread and circuses.
Keep the masses entertained, and they won't question authority.
And today it's pixels and playlists.
But the principle is the same.
A distracted mind is less likely to think critically.
It makes you think of Huxley's warning in Brave New World.
Oh yeah, about a world drowned in trivia, too entertained to care.
And it makes you wonder, are we already living in that world?
Lost in our feeds while important events are happening all around us.
And the video's message is clear. Your attention is their pride.
Every hour we spend on these platforms is an hour taken away from our own growth, our purpose, our fight.
It's a powerful reminder that our attention is precious.
So what can we do?
The video ends with this really empowering message.
What's that?
It says, freedom begins when you choose what fills your hours, not when it's chosen for you.
So we have the power to reclaim our attention.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing the forces at play and making conscious choices.
So I want to ask you again, have you ever felt like your day just vanished in front of a screen?
We all have.
This deep dive into the Psyche and Wisdom video has really opened my eyes to why that happens.
Me too.
And it reminds us that reclaiming our attention isn't just about being more productive.
It's about taking back control of our lives and our potential.
So here's a final thought for you.
Okay.
Knowing everything we've discussed about the forces vying for your attention, what's one small step you can take today to wield your time and focus more intentionally?
It's a question worth pondering.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time.
See you then.